white supremacy and like whiteness is, I always say it's like a gravitational pull. It is like, because everything ends up going in that direction. And I think people always ask like, how can we gatekeep? How can we keep things to ourselves? And I feel like the question is not like, how can we gatekeep? The question is, how long can you keep something pure before it ends up going into the gravitational pull of whiteness? This isn't about if white women need these products. Whenever things get stolen, it's not about them needing it. It's about them wanting access to something that they feel like isn't theirs. And that's like the foundation of colonialism.
Sometimes it don't make no sense. Does it really have to? There is nothing I can say.
Hi, welcome to Mayowa's world. Okay, so I haven't made a hair video or a hair topical video in a minute. If you're new to my channel, my name is Mayowa. I like to talk about things pertaining to anti-blackness, texturism, colorism. So today's conversation is going to be around texturism and black hair products. Y'all, we are almost at 50,000 subscribers. That's like really incredible. I think I'm like a couple hundred away. But that's like a really big deal for me because I started making YouTube videos, I think in like 2016, 2017. And here I am. I really like the direction of where my channel is at this point. I like that I can express the things I really care about to y'all. And yeah, like I got into making YouTube because I've always cared about these topics, but I didn't really feel like people cared. But it's good to know that 50,000 of y'all are caring, interested, subscribed, and watching. So thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. Okay, so there was controversy that I was seeing online about the hair product called Mielle. I don't know if I'm saying the name right. I hope I'm saying the name right. But particularly the Mielle particularly the Mielle rosemary oil. So to give y'all background of like what is going on, Mielle is a Black-owned hair company. They're global. I've seen them in London. I think maybe they have them in Germany or they can ship to Germany. It's from an African-American woman, I think, but it's based out of the US. So Mielle is a black hair, it's a black hair product. That's what we thought. And what some of the controversy going on is that there is a white content creator with a very big platform who did her like favorite Amazon products. And one of the products that she included was Mielle rosemary oil, which up until this point, I had never seen no white girls using that oil before. But suddenly this this content creator was saying that this oil was what they liked. And then from that point, things just kind of exploded because what I'm seeing online is that if you're going to Target where these products were typically sold, it's completely run out. Like it's sold out. And a lot of black girls, a lot of black people who use these hair products are really upset about the fact that a black product that was always accessible to them has now been been gentrified, or it's been gentrified because I saw another girl, like this white girl, she has brown hair, long brown hair, and she was making a video about how she uses the Mielle products. And even the phrasing that she was using was definitely co-opted, stolen from black hair content creators lingo, right? Like she's saying a white girl's talking about detangling their hair. I've never heard a white girl use the word detangle, or like a wash day. So like there is that co-opting of language, and she's showing you how she's using the products. And now when you go into TikTok and you type in the product, like you see a lot of white women showing you how to use the products versus seeing black people. There's a couple things I want to point out about this and like discuss, because I have my own thoughts and I'm gonna share them towards the end of the video. But the first thing I wanted to validate, and I think it's really important to validate, is black women's concern, fear, and upsetness or anger towards what's going on. Because every single time something like this happens, y'all look at an isolated incident and you never look at it as a systematic issue. So y'all see black women getting mad about a white woman using oil, right? Like you've simplified it to that and you think, why are black women always getting mad about things? Why does everything always have to be discourse? And why are black women always upset? What you refuse to look at, right? It's like looking at an ocean and you see a wave and you're not looking at what's going on beneath the ocean, because what's really going on beneath the ocean is that black women have historically had many things that have been for us become gentrified. Particularly when we talk about black hair, people want to always say it's just hair, and I've made videos talking about why it's never just anything, when it can prevent you from having a job, it can prevent you from your dating options, how you present in the world. Like, black hair on particularly women and people who are non-binary who wear their hair out has been used as a way to prevent us from having access to things. I don't know if y'all have seen recently, but the Crown Act, which was a legislative act to prevent people from discriminating against black people for their hair texture, was rejected a couple weeks ago. It was rejected, right? So it's still legal to discriminate against black people for their hair. When we think about concept of femininity, black men have a privilege. A lot of black men have a privilege by it being seen as an acceptable hair option to cut their hair short. But if you are not in that category of someone who has the privilege of being able to be acceptable for having short hair, as a black woman, you literally have to think of all the options that you can do for your hair, whether it be and everything is political. As a black woman, as black non-binary people who are prescribing to modern day forms of femininity, everything we do on our hair is political. You wear a weave, you're going to hear people say, why are y'all always hiding your hair? You wear your hair natural. You're going to hear people say, what are you trying to show? They're going to think that you're incredibly, they put a political identity on you as a black person who grows out your hair. Okay? So when y'all say like, what's the big deal? Like, that is a big deal, right? Because if these are the things that black people are using on their hair and they're feeling like now they're being kicked out of it, or the target audience has changed, they don't have access to it. They don't have access to the things that we use to groom ourselves and feel beautiful. And that's very hard as systematically oppressed people. Okay, so that's number one. I just want to say that whenever anyone says it's not a big deal, or why do y'all care, or it's just hair, it's just oil, it's just this, it's a form of gaslighting, because you're refusing to look at systemically why we're here in the first place. Yeah, call it what it is. And also, for the people who are hearing those comments, don't let these people gaslight you. Stand strong in your truth of knowing why you're upset. You have a right to be upset. Because I'm a little bit older, it's not that shocking for me now. But when Shea Moisture, which was like prior to Shea Moisture changing and selling out or whatever, their products was mad. Like, at least for me with my natural hair, I love their products. Like, I really, really like their products. And then they like essentially sold out, or like sold the company to a white they like opened it up for like everyone. It no longer became a black thing.
Like, throws up in my hair, and then I'd just be walking and there'd be like little paper balls in my hair. I hated it because it's like, oh, I have this and people make fun of me for it.
It was lots of days staring in the mirror like, I don't know what to do with it.
I just didn't feel like I was supposed to be a redhead. I dyed my hair blonde for 7 years of my life, platinum blonde.
And that was really heartbreaking for me, for my generation. So I think right now this Mielle controversy is kind of another wave of it happening. I was gonna say that with the Shea Butter thing, Shea Moisture products, and now Mielle, I understand why black people are concerned. I really get it, because they are fearful that a product that they have been using for all this time is now becoming mainstream, which could potentially mean that they're gonna increase the prices or change what's in it or completely target to a different audience. And as black people, we've had that happen many times. So it can be really traumatizing. And I think people should acknowledge that instead of gaslighting black women who are expressing their fear. You should acknowledge these things. I also think this speaks to capitalism, because the whole point of capitalism is to essentially, like, selling will always be, for most people, selling will always be more important than the ethics, right? So people who often market for one group, as soon as an opportunity to like make more money or like elevate your brand to AKA make it for everybody, these terms or whatever, people will take it. And what I thought was really interesting, and what I did notice, and this is where I think I'm adding my own nuance to what I've observed, is that I believe that black women's outrage for this is valid. And I believe that black women should be listened to, and also black non-binary people, anybody who uses the products. I believe that black people should be listened to. But also what I noticed is that personally, this is my own beliefs, I feel like they are using black women's rage for currency. Because something that I found out as I was digging deeper was that a white girl, this is all alleged, I just see this in the comments, but a white girl said that Mielle hit her up to do a brand sponsorship to talk about the products and to say that, and they in the email she said that it said it was for everybody. So this kind of makes me think a little bit differently about it, because, and this is all just off of my alleged and my thoughts, I beg, I don't have money, don't sue me, but if they're hitting up white girls to do the brand, like, I feel like they knew that Black women would be upset, right? Because now, like, it's a thing, this like thing where Black women and how they view their hair, we are the biggest ones showing outrage and showing anger. And I feel like they know that that's gonna increase the sales, that's gonna increase the raving about it. So actually what I do think is going on is that I think that they are going to have white women have it more, and it is going to create Black women to be fearful and go and buy the products. A lot of people intentionally buy Mielle to support Black-owned businesses, but what does it mean to support a Black-owned business if you know that they're also intentionally trying to hit up white people to sell the products? And I think it's because Blackness is always seen as like the bottom of the barrel. It's like the Black people are considered like the quickest to hop onto something and the first that people dispose of. And I think that we do it to our own. Capitalism and anti-Blackness are like one-on-one, you know what I'm saying? But I was gonna say another thing. The reason I think it's funny that white girls are hopping on this is because I always thought that white hair textures, they have to wash their hair to prevent it from getting greasy. And I thought Black hair was the opposite. Like, Black hair has to always add oil to keep it moisturized. And I really hate when people make it seem like all of our hair does the same thing and we all need the same thing. And like, white girls should wear bonnets too. It's not true. There's something, I don't know why we always want to have everything be the same thing. It's not the same. White people's hair is not like Black people's hair. It's okay. Like, so I don't really understand why now they're oiling their hair, especially in that video. This girl was like oiling her hair and then she washed it out. So what was the purpose of having that in your scalp for an hour? It's really not seeming realistic, but you know, white girls be selling things and people buy it off of what they say. So, but it's kind of interesting because like a lot of Black people got made fun of for having greasy hair, or having hair that had oil, or if you touch a Black person's hair and like oil comes out, or like having so many steps. Like, I just think that right now, like globally, we're moving towards a place where like everybody wants to be the same. Like, I feel like we are trying to see that we're all the same people. We all do the same things. And when that happens, it ends up, that is like the concept of like, we are all one, we're a melting pot. We just don't see each other's sides, point of views, but we're all one person like that. There are communities that exist outside of this whole we are one collective. And when you're trying to force everything to be the same, it tears apart things that are in communities, which is why Black women are upset about the Mielle thing. And I just want to also say, I've said this in other videos, but white supremacy and like whiteness is, I always say it's like a gravitational pull. It is like, because everything ends up going in that direction. And I think people always ask like, how can we gatekeep? How can we keep things to ourselves? And I feel like the question is not like, how can we gatekeep? The question is, how long can you keep something pure before it ends up going into the gravitational pull of whiteness? Because it's always like a matter of time. And like with social media and us sharing our things online, like it just makes stuff easier and faster to be consumed and faster to be seen as a trend. And like we lack originality because everybody is wanting to do, like, this isn't about if white women need these products. Whenever things get stolen, it's not about them needing it. It's about them wanting access to something that they feel like isn't theirs. And that's like the foundation of colonialism. That's the foundation of gentrification, right? It's like white people never needed bonnets. They never needed box braids. They never needed Mielle products. They never needed cornrows. But they want it because the taboo and because it's not for them. So I think as soon as we really understand that that's genuinely how whiteness moves, maybe we can act differently. Maybe we can feel differently. Maybe we can be differently. But to expect anything different, you know, people are really funny though, because people were talking about oh my God, like Black people were trying to like create these funny content being like, yo, if you just put perm, white women don't use this product, instead use perm, or like use nair, or like they were using these like really funny memes. And I think that stuff is really funny because it's one way of trying to create space But even when I started having freeform locks, like, I don't know what it's like now, but when I had locks, like, and I would Google information on YouTube or Google information, like, it was all white people. So there is like not a single thing that I've ever seen that's for Black people that has maintained being for Black people. Nothing is sacred under capitalism, under white supremacy, like, and it's really sad. And I think that's something to atone to and just kind of settle and like realize, you know? But let me know if there's anything that you've ever seen that a white person has. No, don't let me know. Because if you write in the comments, it will be taken. But yeah, it's not possible. I want to know what your thoughts are. If you made it to the end, you know, don't forget to tell me what you like about the outfit. I always like doing that at the end of each thing, the necklace, the makeup. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.